Testing. 1, 2. We are live.
Hi,
Live.
everyone.
I keep saying we're live. We're not actually live, but it feels cool to say that, so it's fine. We'll just go with it.
We're still alive, yeah.
We're still alive. That's one of them for sure.
Okay, let's start.
Let's dive in. Okay, so there's a few things that we thought we'd chat about today. We're gonna try and do this a little faster because last time it was real chatty and it like came up to like 48 minutes. And who has 48 minutes? Okay, I know you guys are all sitting at your computers anyway, just designing away, but still 48 minutes is a bit much. So we're going to try and keep it a bit shorter. But we have a really full docket for people who want to keep this short. So let's get started. All right. So I thought the first things that we can talk about is some like of the new features and like new releases and like even more interestingly, some of the new partnerships that have been happening in the world of Wix Studio. So one that you wanted to highlight, Oya, is the Monotype partnership.
Yeah,
So
the
tell me a bit
partnership with
about it.
Monotype. It's been maybe a month already, and if someone doesn't know, Monotype is really cool. I don't know, it's a company, I'd say, but it's the oldest, the biggest typography ecosystem. And yeah, when I saw that they partnered with Wix, I kept checking if we have new font, and now I've noticed few new, very, very cool fonts in the system, and I guess we don't even need to worry about licensing and stuff like that.
Interesting. So give me some of these fonts that you found. Any good ones that you wanted to point out?
Uh, yeah. So this one, because it's like a Japanese theme, and I wanted like this white type, and this one is they call benzene, something like that. But it's nice. It's really, really beautiful if you want something white like that. Another absolutely my favorite. It's actually would be better if we could split fonts which I uploaded in 10 years and which Wix has, because it's just so like it's unbelievable to go through that. So I hope someone from Wix will hear us. I'll show you the alphabet is a new one, and I like that we finally can choose like the regular bold and stuff like that, but not for all fonts. But the one I
That
wanted to show
ether,
you,
is that ether one you? Yeah, that's really nice as well.
yes, I love this one. The bold is beautiful, and the regular is so like all these details. Is if you can see like how it's actually very trendy now. Really, I counted maybe 12 new. This one, I think, a new one too.
Very cool. So we should actually like, I guess the best way to figure it out is to go to Monotype's website and like browse on there and then see. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you see that one, the serif,
It's
amazing.
really nice as
Yeah,
well.
so it's very hard to see on my in my list. It's like maybe 600 fonts I have, and I don't know how to like. It's a pain to have that many. I wish we have the system where I can just delete, because I definitely don't need all of them.
Okay, so I think the best thing to do is like go on Monotype's website and like in their library, like all of them are there. And then I think like seeing how it's in use there and then like finding it on Wix Studio is probably the best way to go about it. But to be honest, I don't think I clicked that this happened. So I'm really glad you told me now because now I'm like, oh yeah, this is actually really useful because I probably would have just gone, oh, new fonts. Okay, yeah, so that's really cool. That is a big win. All right, that's exciting. The other thing, which I don't think either of us knows too much about, just because we don't necessarily dev on a daily, but it seems to be really promising, is obviously the acquisition of Base 44, which is old news, I guess, technically. But I want us to speculate what we think this actually means for the world. So let me share my screen.
Did
So
you
obviously
try it?
this is Base 44. And
Yeah.
so from what I can tell, it's like lovable vibes where you can like build stuff. um, which is great. But I don't necessarily I don't know how this is going to integrate with Wix Studio. So maybe it's like so that Velo apps can be built
So
faster.
like you know that I think it's because I have the alpha testing of this. We will have the option to like wipe code for every single element.
Okay.
So I think that's where it will be integrated.
Do you mean element as in like Wix apps, or like, do you know what I
No,
mean?
no,
Like
you can just in the editor, you choose an element and like right click, whatever is left click, and at the end you will have this like AI coding, like vibe coding thing, and it doesn't work right now. I'm like, it seems
interesting. Well,
hopeless
yeah, I
at the
guess it just
moment.
happened, so it might take a minute. The only thing I'm worried about, yeah, and this is like a convo that I had with Wix Studio a while ago, because they were like, "Oh, you're into AI. We want to ask you a few questions." So I gave it to Wix Studio. They're really good at like actually speaking to their customers and being like, "What are you going to use this for?" Anyway, but I like one of the feedback bits that I gave them about, you know, when you like writing copy in your website and it like goes, "Write this with AI,"
Yes, yes.
right? That's great and everything, but I don't find it useful. Like it's great if you have no tone of voice or a brand behind you and you're just winging it, then that really works because you're gonna get an AI answer. But the reason why I'm going to things like ChatGPT instead is because I can build an entire brand and teach ChatGPT my brand, my tone of voice, and like bring all of that in. And it's like a really bespoke thing that I'm just getting back just because I've taught it this
Yeah.
brand. Where
Yes.
you can't technically do that, you're just gonna get an AI answer.
You know,
On
like AI text is useful, like for example, for the product description, these kind of, and you when you do it in bulk, like
an SEO and stuff like that. Yeah. So I can see a need for it, but I wouldn't just use it on my everyday copy just because I feel like you can spot it from a mile away. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. I use the same. I don't use this AI thing, and only with ChatGPT copy paste. And yeah, if they could implement this, the whole. But what's the point then?
That's fair. I wonder if this is built on Wix Studio. Let me check.
The website? I
Yeah,
don't
just out
think
of
so.
interest sake.
Not yet.
Wix stores, e-commerce is what I'm seeing. Wix Media. Actually, I think it
It
is. Wix
it's built
Studio.
with
Huh.
Wix Studio. Wow.
There we go. Well done. They're quick, these people. Hey, they knew. Let's be on brand now, shall we?
That's really impressive.
That is really impressive. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
Maybe we
now
should
I actually
do.
can see that it has the vibe of our
I
new
know.
certificate.
It does. I feel
See?
like we should do a rebuild of this. Should we do it? We'll do a rebuild of this at one point because I think that'd be really fun. All right, cool. Let's head on to the next thing that has been obviously brought to our attention, which is like this new responsive design checker, which we'll get into in a minute. And then the other thing, oh, here's me playing with some fonts. Delete. Okay, so the other thing that I found interesting, which Olia didn't even know, well, she knew, but she didn't actually know it was already released, is our new text path thing. So when someone in the group spotted this on Facebook and they were like, "Oh, is this new? Like this is a thing?" And then all the other people were like, "Well, this is useless." And I was like, "Oh, well, actually, it could be quite cool." I just have no idea how this would be like responsiveness wise. So I think this is something that we can potentially test out today and just go like, how are you going to make a very big squiggle like really responsive? So I feel like that would
So
be
you just
interesting.
can you choose your own path, or how does it?
You can choose your own path, but you can't make your own path. You have to choose
But
between like these, which
yeah, so
says,
you can't
well,
upload.
I mean, what is confusing though is when we get here, like there's a little house, but that's not here. So I'm like,
Yeah, maybe it's look, there's a cat text movement
it would be cool if you could do it yourself. Like
because
imagine if you could like create one on, because there's like a two, surely. There's
maybe
like a
they just forgot to add button upload upload new.
we'll assume they forgot. We're just gonna go with that. Surely, people, you have forgotten. Yeah. So you can apply movement or not. It's super fun. I think it's really great.
Yeah, that's cool. So it move in different directions?
No, I don't think that one does. Wait, but see, this is why I'm confused, yeah? So look, so we have that, and then add new path. What does that mean? Oh, so you
Yes, you can.
can.
Oh my god. You see?
That's so
It's
cool.
just
We're both
uh,
like, yes.
wow. Wow, why? How come there was no any announcement?
Maybe there was, we just missed it. Wow, look
See?
at this. This is
Yeah.
quick. Wait. Can you read it? No. Does it look cool? What is our priority here, guys? Okay, let's just get real with our priorities. Does it look cool? Yeah, it does. Okay, it really does. I'm here for the ping pong paddle as well. This is gonna be us for the rest of the day. We're just gonna like go through every part and be like, what about this one? Ah, that's funny. Okay, cool. All right, so yeah. So you
Okay,
can't
let's
change
move to
any
the
of the
next one. 25 minutes, remember?
25 minutes. Oh yeah, she gave me a deadline, by the way. Oh, it's old. All right. So that would be the other thing. And then so the final thing is like this responsiveness checker. So we have a fancy responsive slash accessibility. So obviously this has always been there, but somehow this one is new.
It's just
So we'll
updated.
see.
I saw just little things they add.
Smarter.
Nothing major, you know.
We're gonna go with it smarter and just like say that. So we'll scan the page. We're going to do a little build along and then we'll scan the page and see how we did, kind of thing. Okay, so today I thought we could do a little build along of this website, which is super simple. So I even think like we can up it a little bit, we can add some animations. But really, the main thing that I wanted to chat about today is responsiveness and how to actually build a responsive website, because I'm seeing a lot of like not dependence, but a lot of people still trying to use like the AI responsiveness tool thing. And the reality is, it's like, let's just get our foundations right and the rest will happen. I also had like a friend recently reach out to me who was like, oh, do you mind checking my site? Um, and this is the other gripe that I have. So while I'm starting this, I might as well share it. Is like she started. So this is a completely beginner person, just a person who wanted to start a business, right? Um, and I couldn't necessarily work with her because obviously she didn't quite have the budget because she was like seriously starting, like starting out. Anyway, so I was like, yeah, definitely use Wix. And so what happened though is because when you start a new project in Wix,
Yeah, it
it's
forces you to go to Wix Studio.
it literally everything tells a user to use Wix Studio. And so this poor girl built her entire website on Wix Studio. Not that there's a lot and there's like barely any sections or anything, because I can imagine she was like, I have no idea how to use this. Like, I think that's basically what happened. Absolute mess on mobile. Absolute mess. Because she has no idea what she just started building on, right? So my recommendation really was Wix Classic. But because she would not know there is a difference, she went straight into a studio build. They really should like help and educate people on like the fact that there is seriously a difference. Okay, let's dive into our build. So obviously the first thing that we want to do is check our little design. So we'll do this on a couple of episodes just because we only have 10 minutes. So let's see how far we get in 10 minutes. So first up, what we want to do is basically check out our font. So maybe now we can use a really fun font. I'm not going to use the font that they used, but let's basically start with the main thing that we should always be starting with, which is our site style setup. So I already brought in the colors and I also brought in all of the media. And so typography wise, let's see, I quite like that ether one that we saw. This one. I think that's a really nice one. So I'm going to go with ether on that one. And then for paragraph text, any suggestions? Any go-to paragraph text that you always use?
Inter. I don't know if it's here.
It probably will be. That's a new one as well. Let's get
Yeah.
into it. Let's keep it simple.
Yeah,
The
Interlight.
only thing I don't like about Inter is like it
Light.
has like a
Go for
different
light.
style and everything. Light. Are you sure?
Yeah,
Really?
Interlight is better than. I mean, it
Yeah.
looks
Okay.
better. Yeah. And by the way, you know how I always set up the typography through the panel. Like I just find it
Yeah,
like
you go that way. We can do both. So let's do
yeah.
one setup with the normal and the other setup we can do with that. So I'm gonna go into my CSS peeper thing and just see if I can figure out what kind of fonts they have going here. Can't see there. Let's see here. All right, so it looks like 112 px. So we're gonna go with something similar. Okay, so going with what we know, we're gonna go. Let's go 110. And then we're always going to scale text. We're going to go max I usually just keep this 110. I know Oya goes up a little bit. Everyone to their own. And then this one, I'm basically going to have to guess for now and update it later. So I'm just going to go 80 for now. And then I'm going to make that 1M because I don't love...
It's for heading, I think maybe one point. But yeah, that's why I prefer seeing it and adjusting it on the screen rather than in the typography setup, because you don't really see it. Some fonts, if you put one space in between lines, it will be just like sticky lines. And some fonts, they have like some margin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. So again, you kind of have to eye that on your end. I'm more of a no spacing in my titles. I don't love it. So let's go with that for now. So that's one way that you can do it. The other way that you can do it is, let's say we can bring in a text and then we can kind of go here. So let's quickly go to our one again. Let's say this is our H2 and that would be 60px. What is this one? That's also 60px. 60px. So yeah, they already went for 60px. Okay, cool. And then this is 36. Awesome. So if we're going for our H2 as 60, and then we min-max that, let's say 65, and to be fair, I'd always work with variables of A, but for this right now, we're just gonna have to wing it. And then let's go 42. And then again, I'll just make that one for now. Okay. Cool. So this is the other way you can do it. And then what you have to do is basically update the styles. Where is that?
It's when you go to up the heading, yeah, and at the
and then you update the style. And so it will like override it. So those are basically the two ways that you can go about this, which is great. That's very helpful to know. All right, so let's head on just for quick sake. This was, I think it was 36, do we say? Just speed this up. And let's say 28, 1. $28, 18. Now, because we're going a bit smaller, this is where we're going to probably start having to get some spacing in. One thing that we always love to do is have a title kind of set out that is not scalable. So this is actually something that we taught in our cohort. Yeah. For a tip, why do we do that? Well, yeah, while I do this.
Because some elements, they don't know when to stop. There's no max and min. And like, for example, buttons or menu, like these kind of elements, they will go hugely. So they don't read the maximum value. So I prefer having just fixed buttons then.
Okay, so we'll make that 1.2, and then we'll make that 16, and then for our final one, like all you just said, we're not going to have this one scale, and we're probably going to have it around 16. We'll see how we want to use it a bit later, but I think for now, let's just do that. And then do the same with our paragraphs. So I think a main thing people always struggle with is the fact that once they get to mobile, it's like...
Yeah, because they don't set minimum.
It's like the tiniest little thing in the entire world. So let's just go that 1.3 and potentially like a 1.1 for up. Oh no, definitely not 1.1. 0.2.
No, you can just leave it as is.
That was a bit much though. That was a bit aggressive. Okay, let's try this one. 0.2.
I like way more space between.
Yeah, I love a good spacing. I've realized that actually. All right, and then our final one. So like we have one header that's not scalable, we will always have one paragraph that is also not scalable. And so that's really going to help us from a point of view of anything that we don't want scaling. So like buttons or forms or anything like that, we'll have that. Okay. Right, so now that we have that, we're happy. It looks great. And now we're going to go to this wonderful and slightly useless piece of information, which is our max width which if you don't know, if you're frustrated at any point because your stuff isn't scaling beyond a certain point, this is why.
I do 2560 because yes, because there are some screens like you really don't want to respond to the size of the screen.
That's true. So you do like really big sizes. I usually just stop at 1950, but let's go for bigger. What do you usually do?
2560.
Okay, so let's start off with our build. So the first thing that I'm going to do is basically check out our website. And like I said, we have a fairly chill website. So we're going to go obviously with our nice little logo, and then we just have a button, and then we have our H1, we have paragraph, and then we have our view plans button.
Do you use paragraph for the second? I usually use
H2. So for SEO point of view, what we'll do is we'll like overwrite that and like just make that the H2. Just because that's always a great idea from a Google perspective, because usually your like paragraph under, or your sub paragraph under your title actually says a bit more about your website. Okay, so let's start. Oh, yeah, you can. You're right. So we'll go in here, and then I just need to make sure I have the right colors, but I think we do. So we have that. No, that goes the other way. And on this side we have our white. Lovely. And then what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to have it overlay. Well, we don't really want it to scroll the site because the other one doesn't. But let's for now just say we're going to do that. I will go over the next section. We're going to delete this. Really want to delete that because we only have a button. And then we'll jump into our media. Don't know if we have an S. Oh yeah, we do have an SVG, so that's great. And we'll bring that in. So considering this is quite a big logo, even here. Okay, so we definitely want some padding because you can kind of see on our build that we have a decent amount of padding. So we're going to basically go, I'm going to go 5 actually, 5 EW. So 5 EW is 5 viewport width. And then let's go 1 BW, just because this already has a bit of, and we actually want it a bit bigger because it was a lot bigger. I actually had someone ask me this week, could you make the logo bigger? It was awesome. I was just like, do you know the stereotype that you are, sir, ma'am? It was great. I was like, oh yeah, awesome. Okay.
You go with it because it's a rounded button. Anyway, yeah, you can do that.
It's a red button. So let's round it. We got a round one, and then do I have the screen? Oh, it's yellow. Do I have it? Why do I feel like I don't? Like a very light, yeah. Okay, cool. This looks a bit green. We have that. And then this is a great place to bring in our standard size. And then it's kind of more like a green, a bit more of a boldish.
That's fine.
Do you think?
I mean,
for now.
For
For
now.
what we're doing,
Yeah.
it will have to work. I'm actually going to make it a little bigger. And I'm going to make it bold. There we go. That looks a bit closer to what we wanted. And then we have get started. And we don't have a border. Lovely. And then obviously always remember to please go do your hover. But we're not going to do that for now. Okay, so side, middle. I think that's a good start. Okay, so now we're definitely wanting our H1s. So usually what I would do is I would jump in and just give it some margin. Right now it might feel quite pointless just because you're like, everything's in the middle, which I get. But I'm always just cautious because you just never know responsiveness wise. You don't want things cutting in the edges. So for now, I'm just going to go 5EW, 5EW. I'm going to add a lovely H1. So let us jump in here, bring in, look at that little line height situation that we got going. So we got that. We're going to bring it into our green. And then, is this one? Why does that look so far away? This is like quite an intense font. Okay, I'm just going to middle that, bring that in. So, are you the kind of gal who just goes straight to the site settings and just changes everything to advanced settings?
Yeah, in the tools.
In the toolbox. I never do that. I just go like element by element, but I realize like I spend so much time
Yeah,
doing it.
exactly. I also sometimes if I forgot, I just do element, and then I realize
And then you get sick of it. Where is it? I never
it's
do it.
in the tools. No, in the view maybe size and preference.
Ah,
Yeah, it always
let's
show it.
just go always show advanced. Let's just save ourselves some time. All right, so we'll go there. Oh, no, wrong way.
You need to make it 2 lines.
2 lines and then 2 lines underneath that. I actually needed to check what size this font is. That's a 36. Okay, wonderful. Okay, so we want it a bit longer. And then I think I'm wondering, okay, no, we'll just go with it. So it was around 36, which is basically our H3. You know what I really like is you see this highlight color.
Mm-hmm.
Stop. In Webflow, you can add a bit of code to like change that. And I don't know if you can do that in Wix Studio. Have you ever done that?
No,
Where your highlight color changes?
you mean like when you are selecting the font, or just highlight the font
So
as at the
literally
part
when
of
you're
the design?
on a live site and you're highlighting something, you can actually like customize this. So this they customize to the screen, their brand green.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Yeah.
We should check that because I feel like
I
that is
think
such
it can
bad.
be doable with like
It's a bit of
code.
code, right?
It's definitely an easy thing.
I'm like on a race, man. I want this stuff to like be possible in Wix Studio. All right, sweet. Why does that look so massive all of a sudden? Oh, it is the right size.
You need to have some space between lines for the second.
This looks a lot bigger there, doesn't it? No? Okay, we'll just go with it. Right, and then I'm going to bring in my button here. And by the way, I'm going to set this button to fixed. I don't know if it is fixed already. Is it?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
think.
pixels. Yeah.
Lovely. Okay. So we're going to stack this. We're going to make sure everything is aligned in the middle. Because if you see that happening, that means it's aligned to something and we just want it to be
Yeah,
aligned to
but
the middle.
with the stack, you remember we have cool button to align everything in one.
We do. We have this one. So if you click on the whole stack and you just go like that, it will align everything. But if
Including
you
the text.
including the text, which is a whole other thing. All right, so I'm gonna centralize this for now. But I think we'll probably have to dock it at some point because if I'm looking at our design, we actually need to like extend this to have like a different grid altogether. So do you think this should be a different section or just a
No,
different
I would go in with one section with 2 rows. It can be actually with.
be a great learning experience? Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna apply our advanced CSS
Yeah. By
grid.
the way, you can just do it without the blind. You just
With
set a
what?
row. It's the same. You don't need to. I don't understand the this button apply right now because you can have rows.
But isn't it just a cell then if you don't do it?
No, no. When you're in advanced sizing, there's no cells. So you just
Yeah,
click
I
without
see what
apply. Click one row, and it will
I
add
see
it.
what you mean.
I don't get why we have this button there. It's strange.
That is a bit silly. I didn't even look at that. All right, so let's go. So obviously now we've added a row, so we have this, which is our basics. So we'll come back to that sizing wise, but let's add our phone screen into the next one. So the reason why we decided to kind of extend it and not just start a new section altogether is because we kind of want this little gradient here to still move, even though like it still has to go across both. So let's dive in. I think it would be this one. I really like. It's a great graphic. Good job. So right now, obviously it's right there and we want to bring it in here and centralize it. And there we go. That's already looking great. So now what we want to do is, so I'm wondering if we should.
So we there are a few ways here. We for one way, and I think maybe the simplest, is to set up the first row as, let's say, ATVH.
Yeah.
So it
Well,
means it will because we also have you set up the padding for the top of the section as well. I think you should remove it.
do you think?
Uh, yes, because we want 100 VH, including the. I mean,
Fair.
Yes,
I'm just worried that it's gonna, just because we have this as overflow, there's nothing stopping it. That's my only concern.
yeah, okay. Now you can add like padding to this to the stack. Sometimes I do that.
What here?
Yeah, padding to the stack.
Hmm.
You can add
Let's see.
something like that and center it.
But then I'll have to dock it. Because look, it's still going over. It's not gonna work.
Okay, so we probably need to extend the row, maybe. Or, okay, we can go another way. We can do the first row 100 VH, so we know it's all centered. Not 80, but 100. And by the way, you should remove auto as well. I mean, you don't use min max, you use just 100 VH, because if it's max auto, it will.
It will keep going. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair.
So
I'm just worried about this, but we don't want this to be auto.
we don't want, yeah, you just choose VH at the viewport height. Yeah.
But this is for
No, no,
max.
no. No, you go to the rows again. Go to the where min max is written. No, not there. Where min and max is written. Yes. Choose VH, and now it's only VH.
Just that. Okay, got it.
And then we can just bring up the font minus something,
Do you think we'll have to go minus?
because we need to see it
Yeah.
in the first screen. Or we can have this phone as the part of the stack. So we are sure that.
Maybe if we make this 90?
I think the font should be smaller. It's
I
just,
think.
yeah.
It is a lot bigger than what we had. So let's just go 100. Let's go 70 and then let's override. And then this one, let's go 22. And we can just override that one as well. All right, so I think that will already help a little.
Yeah, and also we should remember that we have this bar at the top, which also like 80 pixels it takes. So when we build a website, we always have this extra 80 pixels, which will be removed when you go live.
Oh yeah, up here. So basically what she's saying is when you publish, you have like that bar that says by Consortium Studio,
Yes,
blah, blah, blah.
yes.
So yeah. Okay, so I think that's looking okay. We have that little peak. I would like it to be peaking a little more, but I think for now that's fine. Worst case scenario, you can minus it a little bit, like you said. So if we said like minus 20 pixels or whatever.
No,
so
more. It's we made it 90 VH. I would do minus like 10 VH.
And we can potentially, I think, do a really nice animation where it kind of goes down as you're scrolling.
Okay. Yep.
So I can kind of see that happening, which I think would be quite nice. So it will kind of scroll with you as you go down. Okay, so I quite like that. All right, so just to recap, we don't have any padding on the top for this section. We do have, however, at the bottom. And then what we basically did is set this to 90 VH, so it won't ever be smaller than that, because obviously if it's any smaller than that, then this will start bleeding into your navbar, which we don't want. Okay, let's keep that for now. We can move along. Okay, so I think that's a really good start. We are at way past our time, but I'll edit it down. But I think it's a good start, and then we can build the rest next week. How does that sound?
Yeah, with animation and stuff. Yeah.
Then we can bring in animation. We can then like start building some of the other, because the sections become more interesting. I do promise. Like this, I don't like at all. I really
Yeah, I
don't like
didn't
what they
like
did here.
the animation of buttons as well. It's a bit strange.
Yeah, it's not great, but like this could be interesting. There's a lot here, so I think for the next 3 sessions we'll be basically building this out, which I think will be quite fun. Okay, we're done. Before we do any more, we are done. Thanks, guys, for joining us. Please let us know if you guys have any questions of what we just did.
And if you want to have a specific conversation, like we can talk about something like a hot topic or something like that.
100%. I think another thing that I want to do is do like a like website feedback thing. So if you guys have any websites that you want feedback with for like design wise, let us know. We'd love to do that. We love to share opinions. Okay, cool. All right. Thanks, guys. It's been a mosh. Until next week.
Bye.